Wayne and M's combo. I don't know if y'all got to listen to that, but
I got some of it.
you got to listen to that. That whole episode actually of Young Money Radio was fucking great. Kevin Durant called in. I got a whole new. Not that's not true. My respect for Wayne is up there, but I what I do with Wayne is different than what I do with like Hove, or what I do with even with Ye in that regard, because of the lack of the outward business conversation. For whatever reason, I just made the assumption that it's just hit the acumen or hit what he. When you fam being on mic for that long of a time, the discussions that he just naturally brings up and kind of lends that nigga's smart as fuck.
He's intuitive, bro.
He's
That's always been a thing.
smart as fuck. Yeah. Me, El, and Poe got to talking about Wayne sort of becoming the GOAT in our eyes when those times were for all of us. Because they're celebrating, not celebrating the Carter 2, but they were talking about how the Carter 2 is one of those longer albums that are brilliant, which is true. But the Wayne that sort of took that shift for me, Block is Hot is great, Lights Out is great, 500 Degrees, all great records. The Squad mixtape's great. The Prefix mixtape though, where it's like majority black album freestyles, that right there, that the prefix and the suffix, I'll never forget where I was when I heard those and going, because the Hot Boys shit, you can tell that they're smart. All that goes for BG, that goes for Turk, that goes for Juvie, that goes for Wayne. Something about Wayne made him feel a little bit more advanced. And then you get to 500 Degrees and the more introspect Young and Blues and shit like that. Like, okay, he's a little bit, he's smarter than we're giving him credit for. The Prefix comes out, and it's the generic thing is to kind of lean on vocabulary and go, oh, it's okay. It's not the vocab. It's how thoughtful. And I know my homies that are creatives, when they ask me for critiques and shit, I use the word thoughtful a lot, and I don't know if that word carries the weight for y'all that it does for me. I use that for you. I use that for you. My boy Justin, who's a writer. Ta-Nehisi Coates, one of my favorite creatives. Bomani Jones, one of my favorite creatives. B Walk, one of my favorite creatives. Special, who we talked to on the show last week. Iman, her writing, it's just, I use the word thoughtful. It sounds like a blanket sort of generic statement, but I use thoughtful because Prince says it in the Beautiful Ones book. Everybody wants to know what the funk is, but the funk is the thing that they least expect. It's the space in between the notes. So everybody's trying to fill up these bars with these notes. They just want to fill it up. Can you leave space? The funk is in the space. I'm like, God damn it. That's the thoughtfulness he's talking about. Those beats and those variables that people neglect and gloss over. Ta-Nehisi Coates, The Water Dancer, the book. Yo. I don't know what niggas got going on. Please read that. Set in slavery in slavery times, he manages to make you completely disregard any and everything that's ever been told to you in this the variables that are abused in telling those stories. He manages to use none of that shit. How? How can you take the same setting of a story that's been told over and over again and create a brand new one? And have my experience with it be brand new. That's that's just pure thoughtfulness. He's made up these characters. He's made up this setting. Like the story is complete. It's his first fiction based book, and bruh bodies that shit. To me, it's equated to thoughtfulness. The Prefix, albeit a mixtape, is where you can hear the thoughtfulness. Like bruh's computing differently. He's taken a completely different angle. And so now, fast forward, that's almost 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago, we're talking about for Prefix and Suffix. To hear Wayne now host a radio show and talk about the things that he wants to talk about and the things that fascinates him. When him and M start geeking out on processes, I thought that was so. I thought it was such an honest sort of subtle moment, but it was a real one into how thoughtful he is. He's like, yeah, I gotta Google myself and find out what the hell I said so I don't say it again. I thought that was so fire.
But then he just said something great just randomly though, because like he always holds himself at this level. Like there is no like absence of confidence whatsoever.
No.
I don't think over the course of Wayne's entire life has there been an absence of confidence when it comes to his output.
Nope.
Like the work that he does.
Nope.
Maybe in business ventures or the business part of things, maybe at some point there might have been a little moodiness about that. But as far as like what he knows that he does, there's never been an absence of, nigga, this isn't my calling or what I do immaculately.
Yeah.
What you kind of hear too between him and M, because I was thinking too that listening to both of them talk, it gives me even more appreciation for us being able to have an opportunity to hear something like that. Yeah. These are two guys that you don't hear anything from, like
that have mastered something
and has mastered it exactly. But then to listen and hear and like, I know there's so much issue that people have with M's career now, like as if you can just erase everything that M does because of not being able to relate to him. But I was just thinking that like, how can you be as great as he is at hip hop, and when you leave, if you leave a booth or leave being around somebody else that raps, what you go back to has zero to do with hip hop. Like I'm pretty sure there's not one family member of M that knows pretty much anything about hip hop. So like, who keeps you grounded in the genre? I just felt like that was I for some reason.
Royce,
huh?
Royce now, but they and you see it. You see M slowly coming to, because he's around Royce again.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so that's to your point. Mm-hmm. And what got me in their conversations is just how human the both of them are, and they don't get enough credit for just being like just regular niggas. Like yeah, man. They hear them nerd out about each other's records, and the records that M chose to nerd out about were like so random, but just so if you would only know that if you're, you know, if you're a fan, you know. I don't know. It was you said it, G. It was a dope insight to the two of them. So salute to Wayne and Apple for Young Money Radio, because even the shit that he's playing, like, nigga, he was playing our shit. He played some BG joints, he played some Hot Boys joints, he played some Juvie B-sides. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy, because this is how I feel about these records too. I think that's all. You could tell a lot about a person about their playlist.
Also, it's cool to see that they're like batoning too. Like,
yeah.
I think that they're like, it's hard for them to really gauge or know like who's new. Like, I'm pretty like, well, for Wayne, Wayne I know just listen to himself. So
no, but I thought that when he was talking about how many of the new people he's a fan of, that made me happier than anything.
Yeah,
the fact that because he
but he said before why that's the case though.
Yeah.
Because he skateboards all the time, and that's the music that comes on when he's skateboarding. That's the time that he gets to get to know those type of deals. But
and that's when you should consume too. When you're your happiest, your freest, and because I feel like who would be a better gauge of talent? And so hearing M talk about like why they signed Boogie and how special they really think Boogie is. Like, it's not.
Boogie is, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like hearing how much Wayne loves Lil Baby, like that meant a lot. And how much M loves YB and Cordae. Mm-hmm. Like I'm thinking about them. I'm like, yo, where are they hearing this right now? Do they know that the GOATs are stamping them?
And
like,
I believe that Jessie Reyez is the next big thing, which I agree with.
Hey, you've been saying
Jessie Reyez and Doja Cat is going to be the biggest things out. But we'll see.
You've been saying it. So when them two niggas start nerding out over Jessie Reyez and Wayne brought it up, he's like, hey, don't you work with Jessie Reyez? Like, and M was like, yeah, she's dope. And Wayne was like, yeah, man, Like, but it's just that shit. That's the magic.
And the cool thing that Wayne kept saying though was that certain individuals, they just need the ear.
They need the ear.
Bro, when he kept saying that, bro, that shit kept,
because you listen.
That was
you
really
listen,
touching me each time because he was just like,
you listen to
gotta
him.
listen,
Can you hear?
Listen to him. You gotta listen
Yeah.
to him though. Like you gotta hear them though. So they just need an ear, which was just super.
And he said it's what he said about YBN. He's like, you got to go listen for real.
Yeah.
He said that about Griselda as a whole. It's like, nah, but you gotta listen for real.
Mm-hmm.
He said that about he said that too. It was one other sort of obscure artist that he mentioned that I was like really, really happy for. Shit. It'll come to me.
Which lets you know, it gives you insight too to Wayne's full career and how many acts he's worked with and like how he's put on so many different artists, because he definitely has listened to these artists. Like he's listened to what they say. That's the only way that you're able to gauge Nicki before Nicki. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
If you watch that DVD, it wasn't this Nicki.
Nope.
If you
got with Young Money.
Yeah, if you listen to early Drake, it wasn't this Drake. You know what I mean? So you gotta, the things that like people had opportunities to sign Drake. There's no way you're about to sign Drake, the Drake that you knew. You know what I mean? But like it was literally the ear that he's had, what Tyga has become.
Yeah.
It's just shit. I hella fuck with Lil Twist. Lil Twist is like a spit out of Wayne right now.
Yeah.
He's gonna have some fire at some point whenever he's working on the work right now. But when he comes back out, I think the twist that's gonna be reinserted into the game is gonna be special. But like it's just so many acts. Bro, who brings out the fucking best in Wayne is fucking what's his name? Gutta Gutta. Like put Gutta Gutta on a track and you gonna get some wild bars from Wayne.
From Wayne, yeah. And niggas just dismiss Gutta. Like Gutta is on some of the hardest like B-side joints, like for before the Young Money tapes, the Squad tapes. Like that's Gutta's voice that we hear on the
Bro,
Squad
Demolition
shit.
1 and 2.
Man.
Spazzing.
Man. Okay.
All right, we get